Sabrina Ionescu made her WNBA debut on Saturday and finished with 12 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists. Although those 12 points came on 19 true shooting possessions, as we can see here from a great graphic from Positive Residual, great Twitter follow, and a great website. Even though she struggled shooting from the field, including 0 of 8 from three-point land, I think she actually played a really good game, and there was a lot of encouraging moments out on the court. Her court vision was outstanding, and we're going to look at specifically how she worked out of the ball screen with the Seattle Storm throwing different actions at her. My name is Coach Pyper. You can follow me on Twitter at HalfCourtHoops. I have a website, thebasketballplaybook.com, that is a coaching resource as well as a membership program for anybody who wants to learn more about the game. In this breakdown, we're going to start off with the ball screens and the different coverages that the Seattle Storm threw at her. The Seattle Storm really did a good job of switching up their ball screen coverages. They ended up going from a trap, which they did 6 times out of 20 ball screen possessions, to hard hedging, which was 3 times. They switched 9 times, the most, almost half of the ball screens, and they had a high drop or kept the big in position to defend a 3-point shot 2 times. The first possession started off with a high drop or the big in like a flat hedge scenario, and then turned into a trap. With 2 on the ball, we see the 45 cut open. Sabrina does a good job of pivoting, hitting the roll man, and it leads to an open corner 3. The next possession, the Storm trapped again. This time they pushed her all the way to half court, and Sabrina does a really good savvy move here, feels contact and throws her head back to basically bait the ref into calling a foul call. Really good move to sell that call to the ref. The play directly after this, the Storm kind of fake that trap or go into a hard hedge and force Sabrina to go back to the half court and kind of give the ball up with no advantage. This is a very interesting play because they're kind of messing with her now. They just did a really hard trap and now they're hedging and recovering, forcing her to give the ball up. Here we can see the basketball IQ come out because the Storm do the same hard hedging technique. Sabrina waits for the big to clear back to recover and then turns the corner and gets downhill. Now the read here should be to hit the pop. In this scenario, Kylie Shook was a 38% 3-point shooter at Louisville, and I think with more time, with both them being rookies, Sabrina will eventually look to find her on the pop. Instead goes for the left-hand high finish and just misses, whereas in college, this would be an easier finish because of less skilled defenders. I think she'll learn to read and hit the pop next time. In this example, on the re-screen, we're going to see Breanna Stewart is going to switch this ball screen here, and this turns still into a shake read where the low tag is taking the roll man and then the guard would go out to the wing. This is a switch that the Storm perfected in the second half, although we get called for a travel here, still the correct read. In this step-up ball screen scenario, the Storm are going to aggressively trap on the side. When they aggressively trap, this leaves the opposite corner wide open. Sabrina recognizes that, but sees that her teammate in the corner is actually going to be cutting to the basket. So instead of throwing to the corner, she throws it to where her teammate will be, although it ends up in a turnover, an amazing read and pass out of that trap. Another scenario where the Storm end up trapping on the side here. Starts off with almost like an ice or forcing the ball to the side, and then they trap hard. We can see that Breanna Stewart lifts up to take the pop up top, leaving the backside open, and to be able to make this overhead pass through the trap to a cutter on the weak side is amazing. They were unable to take advantage of it with the ball being tipped, but a ridiculous pass out of the trap nonetheless. In this example, Breanna Stewart is going to be the one defending the ball screen, kind of in like a flow action here. What's going to happen is Sabrina is going to come off it and does a good job protecting the ball off of the hedge, but leaves the ball slightly up above her hip, and that allows Stewart to get a tap back to a teammate for an easy turnover and an easy layup. The Storm continue to switch up the looks against Sabrina. Here we see a switch out, which forces her to give the ball up, and they decide to attack out of the post instead of out of isolation. But the next time that Sabrina sees this switching action is off this drag ball screen in the third quarter. Cloud switches it. Sabrina hits her with a crossover, hesitates, and blows by for an easy layup. Great adjustment to recognize she has the mismatch and take advantage of it. The Storm did a good job adjusting in their traps. Here we see the same trap out of this step-up screen. Instead of leaving the corner open, they actually leave the opposite slot open. And what this does is it forces a really difficult pass for Sabrina, who ends up getting it tipped and the Storm steal the ball. Two almost back-to-back scenarios where at the end of the shot clock, under 10 seconds, the Storm are going to switch a big onto Sabrina. The first example, she attempts a step back three, ends up just missing it with about 4 seconds left on the shot clock. And then the next example, she tries to attack after the switch, ends up getting kind of in a weird situation, ends up turning the ball over. Two examples where I think she can improve her one-on-one attacking skills, especially if teams are going to continue to switch on her. The Storm recognized that switching was working against Sabrina, so they continue to do that here. She recognizes that the Storm are switching off the ball, that Sue Bird has a little mismatch, but ends up making an ill-advised pass and a really bad turnover. The adjustment comes on this next possession. After the Storm switches ball screen again, the roller is going to roll into the paint and end up getting a post touch after this little skip pass, trying to catch the defense out, gets the post touch and ends up taking advantage of the switch. Coming off this ball screen, the Storm are going to be in what the high drop that I called it, where they're kind of preventing that three-point shot. In this scenario, I think Sabrina needs to turn the corner and attack this ball side elbow. That would drag the big out just a little bit and allow the pop to be wide open. Here, she hits the pop, and it's almost a contested three, as opposed to an uncontested three like we saw earlier in the game. Now the Storm start to switch it up again. This time they trap and force Sabrina all the way back to half court. The Storm are actually in great position now. We can see the triangle behind the two players trapping the ball. Sabrina does a really clever thing here. She ends up picking the ball up and ball faking, holding the defense, pulling the two Storm defenders up high enough to throw a left-hand skip pass to the roller. The last ball screen example is a double ball screen, which I think that the Liberty are going to run a lot more of, especially because this creates a little bit of confusion between Stewart and Cloud on who's hedging, who's rolling, puts two on the ball. They're unable to take advantage of it, but I believe they're going to go to this action a lot more with teams throwing different ball screen coverages at Sabrina. One of the places that Sabrina Ionescu really thrived was transition. Here we see a ridiculous pass to a cutter in transition. I love how she uses her eyes to kind of look around and sell the defense where she wants them to go. Ends up making a great two-hand pass there. Her ability to kind of control the game in transitions. Here we see her kind of push the ball, create a little miscommunication, hit the trailer for an open three. Really good find there. Here she gets the ball, looks to attack, see that there's no real advantage. I love this pound hesitation pull up. That's a great move in transition. Another look here as she finds an open cutter running behind the defense and leads the cutter ahead with a nice pass. And then this is just a beautiful example of noticing where the defense is and throwing this great skip pass in the pocket for an open catch and shoot three in transition. I was really encouraged by this game with some of the reads and lessons that she learned throughout the game and adjustments that she was able to make and create for her teammates. You make and miss shots, but ultimately we're looking at the correct reads, the correct plays, and just overall improving. I look forward to seeing her development through the whole season. Thank you so much for watching this breakdown. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like. Feel free to subscribe. Follow me on Twitter at HalfCourtHoops. I look forward to doing the next one. Have a great day.